Hello, this is Dr. Victoria Skirbo speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center once again. Today we're going to talk about the Astrology and Kabbalah of December 2017, Part 2. In Part 1, I discussed the Kabbalah, the path that is activated on this 22 vibration that we are on in December, and also details about Uranus, where it is sitting in the zodiac and the aspects that it is making for the month of December. So there are a couple of other very important things happening in December, and I want to talk about those next. So the first thing I want to talk about for this month are the lunations. And there are two. We have the full moon of December 3rd, with the sun in Sagittarius and the moon in Gemini. This is the axis of truth and lies, and this full moon is actually square Neptune, exactly, really, not to the minute, but certainly to the degree. We have the sun at 12 degrees of Sag, the moon at 12 degrees of Gemini, and then we have Neptune at 12 degrees of Pisces. There's a lot to be said about this, but the thing I'm getting from this is that we are going to become aware of what is truthful, what is not. We do have Neptune squaring the whole configuration, so it doesn't mean that it's going to be particularly clear, but we will see what we need to see with this. Oppositions, full moons are points of awareness, and points where something comes out, something comes up to be seen. The interaction between the sun and Neptune is a last quarter square, and so we are questioning authority, we are questioning if what the leaders are telling us is true. And the relationship between Neptune and the moon is a first quarter square. And so the moon in a mundane chart is the people. The sun is the leader, or say the president. And so there is a tension between the people and the leader. And we have Neptune squaring the whole thing. And Neptune is a transpersonal force. Neptune square the moon in a first quarter square is that the people are starting to take action. There's a crisis in action here, and so perhaps the people are looking to find the information that they need to know. That would be information would be ruled by Gemini. So that's the major feeling I get with this full moon. And next we'll talk about the new moon. Okay, so here we have the new moon. The new moon occurs on December 18th. And is at 27 degrees of Sagittarius. The Sabian symbol for 27 degrees of Sagittarius is a sculptor at his work, the ability to project one's vision upon and to give form to materials. And the key word is self-projection into the work. And so new moons are always about new beginnings. And Sagittarius is about truth and what we believe. So this is an opportunity for us, just like a sculptor, to start working on our own work of art. Now, this particular new moon is conjunct Saturn, and Saturn brings a lot of structure. But the relationship between the new moon and Saturn and the sun and Saturn is a balsamic one, and so there is a sense of still having to let go of some beliefs that no longer serve. We also have the sun and the moon square Chiron in this chart, and this is a last quarter square, last quarter phase, crisis in consciousness. Chiron in Pisces deals with victimization, okay, and so we need to, among other things, separation from source, wounding around things like the ocean because it's in Pisces. And so we are coming to a crisis point where we need to perhaps think that those who are supposedly there to help are actually not, and that it's going to be up to us. It's going to be up to a more collective a collective level, grassroots for the common good kind of thing. So I can see that in this chart. Wherever you have 27 degrees of Sagittarius in your chart is where you're planting a seed of truth and a seed of creation. So on December 2nd, we have a aspect between Neptune and Jupiter. Neptune in Pisces, of course, Jupiter in Scorpio. This is a disseminating trine. This is part of a cycle that began back in 2009 when these two planets conjoined at 27 degrees of Aquarius 2 times, and then once at 25 degrees of Aquarius. At that time, a seed was planted for the expansion of our consciousness, and we have this disseminating trine, which is a time of harvest. It's a time of social rewards. So that which was planted back in 2009 comes to fruition, and we can share it with each other. This trine is really about sharing what we know and learning from each other. Okay, so there are a couple of other aspects I want to talk about that are important in this month, and we don't necessarily need to see them. I'll just describe them. And one of them is the conjunction of Mercury to Saturn. This actually occurs 3 times. The first time it occurs on the 28th of November, and that occurred at 28 degrees of Sagittarius. And on December 6th, it happens again. This time Mercury is retrograde, and it occurs at 29 degrees of Sagittarius. And then once Mercury goes direct, this is going to conjunct again, only this time it happens in Capricorn. It'll happen at, I believe, 3 degrees. I have it written here. Yes, 3 degrees of Capricorn. And that doesn't happen until January of 2018. And so we're going through this process where Mercury, which is our mind, conjuncts Saturn, which is reality. And so we have an opportunity to have our mind come together with our ability to manifest that which we focus on. And so because it happens in Sagittarius twice and then Capricorn, it really brings home the idea of what do you believe, what have your experiences taught you, what is truth, what holds water and what no longer holds water. And so we're going to be basing this new cycle of manifestation on what we believe to be true, that we know through our own experience is true for us. So that's kind of exciting. And the last thing I'd like to talk about that's occurring this month that's important is that Saturn is, as I said before, moving into Capricorn. This actually occurs on December 19th. Saturn hasn't been in Capricorn for about 29 years. So this is an important time, and because Capricorn is the ruling, is the sign ruled by Saturn, it makes it that much more powerful. Saturn in Capricorn is about maturing. It's about growing up. It's about becoming responsible for yourself, 100% responsibility for yourself. We have to stop blaming other people. And we have to start looking at what we're doing very, very deeply. Now, as Saturn moves into Capricorn, within a few days of that, on the 21st, the Sun moves into Capricorn and makes a conjunction to Saturn. And then we have Venus, I believe, on the 25th, on Christmas, moving into Capricorn and making a conjunction to Saturn. And so with Saturn in Capricorn is as if Saturn got in the room first, and as each of the planets move into Capricorn, it's going to meet up with sort of the Grim Reaper, and the price of admission will be the necessity to mature and the necessity to become responsible for yourself. This is when the die is cast. Saturn in Capricorn. Saturn's in Capricorn well into 2020, so we do have a couple of years. It's going to be a very interesting time because Saturn will actually be conjoining the Pluto of the United States. Pluto in the United States charts is at 28 degrees of Capricorn, so it'll be happening towards the end of Saturn's reign in Capricorn, but we're also having a Pluto return because, as we know, Pluto's in Capricorn. So the next couple of years should continue to be transformational. The difference is that it's a transformation and it's about responsibility. It's about facing our abuses of power as a country, as a person, as a collective. It's about the rise of the feminine, which we can see now happening at breakneck speed, as it were. And so it's not all terrible news. It's actually the old is falling and the new is, it's time for the new to be born. And that's going to be based on how responsible we are for ourselves. So if we want to create a better world, we have to be better. So I hope you enjoyed this. I know it was a little broken up, and it's been a crazy year. I'm considering doing a retrospective for 2017. If people are interested in that, I'd be happy to go over that from the view of the Kabbalah and the view of astrology. I think we learn a lot of lessons through looking at things retrospectively. Have yourself a great day. Hope you've had a great year. I've really enjoyed sharing my knowledge with you. If you would like to contact me, I can be reached at thecaesartransformation.com, on Facebook, the Caesar Transformation Healing Center, or my personal Facebook page, Victoria Skirbo. Have a great holiday season, and I'll see you in 2018. Ciao.